D2 is ready for deployment.
Okay, proceed with launch. Thruster check.
Thrusters are good.
Pull pin and drive ahead.
And today we are diving on Ryan Canyon. So the third dive of our cruise was in McMaster Canyon. And Ryan Canyon is actually the next door neighbor to McMaster. We are about 144 miles southeast of New York City right now. So much closer to shore than when we were on the Seamounts. I believe the weather later today is still a little bit questionable, so we're going to keep an eye on that and we'll let you know what further plans are. As we saw when the ROV first came down, the way sort of the motion from the thrusters impact on the sediment and these plumes sort of came up. This is definitely a much finer material than we've been seeing on the Seamounts that we've been diving on for the past few days. The material there was much more sand-sized. I'd say this is more in the silt size range. Yep, there we go, plastic bag.
Well, it's a little unfortunate to have our first ever exploration of this canyon and find some trash down here. Yeah, you can see a whole bunch of these little sea cucumbers that is poking over, that this fish is passing over. Look at that. There must be thousands of them down here on this canyon floor. These sea cucumbers basically ingest mouthfuls of the mud and sand, the bottom sediments. And this is the way bottom sediments are processed and overturned. And as these animals feed on the bottom, they're basically stirring up the bottom and introducing oxygen a little bit further into the sediments. I'd also say that, in the other canyons that we visited, we have not seen these, huge abundances of sea cucumbers. And that's a really good indication that there's a lot of rich material that's sinking down into this canyon. So that does look like it's on the top of a mound. I suspect that there's something like an acorn worm, which is an enteronoosed worm, which is a deposit feeder, feeds on the sediments and extracts the organics, just the way I was describing for the sea cucumbers earlier.
Call in the weather gods and tell them to turn it down just a notch and hold off on the big blow for the afternoon.
I'll try. I mean, I'll put out a word. We have had our share of weather in this last 2 weeks. In fact, I think we've had more than our share of weather in this last 2 weeks. So we're coming up to something a little bit larger in the distance.
Oh,
it looks like a king crab. He's carrying something, huh?
Oh, it looks like an urchin, doesn't it?
And maybe he's feeding on the urchin. The fish are trying to take a bite. And you can see the mouth parts working furiously there. It does look like an urchin. This is a deep sea spider. This is distantly related to the land spiders. And you can see it's using its overtures to kind of clean off those other structures there. You see it sliding over the proboscis. Beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, it's very nice, well-developed stair-step sort of structure. You can imagine what this area would look like if you had a major landslide. I don't know how long it would take for all of that sediment to settle down, but I imagine it would be some time.
Mike Vecchione of the Smithsonian Institution was noting that the fisheries management councils in the area are working on protections for some of these deep corals and sponge habitats that we see in the deep canyons, in part based on some of the observations that have been made over the last year or so by the Okeanos Explorer and its expeditions to the canyons of the eastern seaboard.
So watch lead, Nav.
Nav, this is watch lead.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the update. The winds are building up to 25 knots, and we are putting away the swing arms. We're going to come up off the bottom.